Oh no.
From New York and on the new Hot 97 app, Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Rosenberg the Guru at Gmail. Shut up, nerd.
Ebro, don't go ad hominem attack. It's beneath. You're better than that, bro.
Email him. He'll help you out with his relationship, or yours, or someone's. Rosenberg the Guru at Gmail. Kanye, you want to do this right now?
Yeah, we on air?
Yeah, we on the air.
Yeah, man, just call to say I love you.
You're breaking up. I love you too, man.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I love you.
Love you too, man. Are you leading with love? Is that what we're doing today?
I love you, bro.
Love you too, Kanye.
There's a moment.
You want me to put you on hold? Talk to you privately?
Nah, man, I'm just calling to say I love you.
Love you too.
How was our Pac-Man interview? It was okay.
But we're gonna play Through the Fire and the Flames right now. And if you haven't heard my version, it's a little bit different from the original. But yeah, it's still totally Through the Fire and the Flames and nothing else. So yeah, here we go.
Does this guy have perfect pitch?
Ready? We're no strangers to love. You know the rules.
Okay.
What up?
Fuck. Why? I'm sorry. If you're a transgender fan, please leave for a minute. I don't know why.
Really?
The traps are still here. How do you propose we get rid of them?
We can't. We don't. We don't say trap either.
We don't say trap, why not?
So it's a trigger word.
For who?
The traps.
Traps are gay.
Why is it so funny?
No, like
metal enhancements.
how did I just?
What's up? How did the pack menu go? Oh, it's okay. Just standard memes. Okay. Where the fuck is Girdle at? Where the fuck is our YouTube video? Whoa! What the fuck? Fuck the Dow. Give me that real market. Whoa! What the fuck is happening? As treasury yield dips. What is the treasury yield? What does that mean? Oh, treasury yield. I bet that's the interest paid on T-bonds, right? 10-year treasury yield tops 3% for the first time since 2014. Wait, where are my econ memers at? If treasury bond interest rates started to rise a lot. Oh, God, I don't understand all the mechanisms involved. Are T-bond interest rates tied into the federal funds rate? The federal funds rate is when the Fed talks about raising the rates. They're talking about raising the federal funds rate, right? Which is the money that they lend to big banks, right? Which is the money that they lend to banks, the interest rate that they lend to big banks. Is that correct? When the yields go up, the value of bonds go down. What do you mean? Like of existing bonds that you have at lower interest rates? Or what does that mean? What is a yield?
Cisco WebEx lets you pick up a meeting and take it with you on another device.
T-bond rates are ultimately a function of supply and demand for T-bonds, but that is informed by the federal funds rate. The yield is how much you expect to earn on a bond when you hold it to maturity. The interest rate is how much you get paid by the bond every now and then. Wait, interest rates you get paid by the bond? Wait, like a dividend? That's what the interest rate is? Wait, what? Yield is the rate you're expected to earn on the instrument given a few conditions. Like that you hold it to maturity, reinvest the interest payments you earn. Wait, why don't I know anything about treasury bonds? I don't know anything about treasury bonds. Treasury bond. If I buy like a treasury, what is it? What is this? How does this even work? Treasury bonds pay a fixed rate of interest every 6 months until they mature. They are issued in a term of 30 years. You can buy treasury bonds from us in Treasury Direct. You can also buy them through a bank or broker. So if I buy like a $5,000, $10,000 treasury bond, they pay me interest. It's like giving a loan to the government. Okay, I don't care. Never mind. The value of the bond goes down over time. I don't care. Fuck T-bonds. I don't. Oh, is there like a big page where I can just read to? And signal that more inflation is coming. Wait, is inflation something we're worried about right now? Khan Academy?
When you buy a U.S. Treasury security, you're essentially giving a loan to the U.S. federal government. And just as an example here, I have a U.S. Treasury security in which it says that the owner of this piece of paper will be paid $1,000 in 1 year. So if you buy this from the Treasury, maybe you're buying it from someone else, but let's just say that the government is issuing them right now. Let's say you buy it for $950, and the government will give you this security right over here. Now fast forward 1 year. You're holding this security, and what happens? So, all that stuff is written there. What happens a year later? Well, written on the security, and I've simplified it just for this example. It says the holder of the security will get $1,000. So at this point, the U.S. government has to give you $1,000. Has to give you $1,000. So when you look at just the money flows, it's pretty clear that you just lent the money. You gave them $950 now, and then a year later, they give you $1,000. And if you want to put this in terms that you normally associate with borrowing money, in terms of how much interest did you get, well, you lent $950 and you got back $1,000. So let's think about this with a calculator out. So 1,000 divided by 950, 1,000 divided by 950 is equal to 1.05, just to round it, 1.053. So you got 1.053 or 105.3% of your money back. So let me put it this way. So this is 105.3% of money lent, of money given. of money given to the government. Or another way to think about it is you got a 5.3% interest, or if you lent your money out at an annual interest of 5.3%. You got your money back plus you got 5.3% after 1 year. So you can imagine if all of a sudden many people want to buy this government security, and now the price goes up, instead of being $950, let's imagine that it is now $980. What is the implicit yield that the person would now get on it? Well, we get the calculator back out here. So if you pay, so you're gonna get $1,000, and if you paid in 980 instead of 950, then a year later when you get the $1,000 back, that'll only be 102% of your money. So in that situation, it would be 102% of your money. So in the $950 price, you're essentially lending the government money at 5.3%, and at $980, you're lending the government money at 2%. And I'm doing this to show you a point. When the price of the Treasury security goes up, as happened in this case, the yield, the interest that you're getting on your loan goes down. Because in either situation, you're going to just get $1,000 back. If you lend 980 and get $1,000 back, you're only getting 2% on your money. If you lend 950 and get $1,000 back, you get 5.3%. And so this is what people are talking about when they say if Treasury prices go up, then the yield goes down. So if there's more demand for Treasuries, the interest rate on Treasuries will go down. In the next video, we'll talk about how this might change for Treasuries of different maturity dates.
So is it like a set? Okay, so then if we go back and we look at this, the yield dipping means that the cost of the bond is increasing. Why would the cost of the bond increase? What controls that? Is that tied to the federal? Okay, wait. Why do T-bond yields increase? What causes a bond's price to rise? Bond prices fluctuate with changing market sentiments and economic environments, but bond prices are affected in a much different way than stocks. Risks such as rising interest rates and economic stimulus policy have an effect on. When the stocks are on the rise, investors generally move out of bonds and flock to the booming stock market. When the stock market corrects, as it inevitably does, or when severe economic problems we seek the safety of bonds. As with any free market economy, bond prices are affected by supply and demand. Bonds are issued initially par value, or $100. In the secondary market, a bond's price can fluctuate. The most influential factors that affect a bond's price are yield, prevailing interest rates, and the bond's rating. Essentially, a bond's yield is the present value of its cash flows, which are equal to the principal amount plus all the remaining coupons. I'm guessing coupon is the amount paid back every month. Is the annual interest rate paid on a bond. Okay. The yield is the discount rate of the cash flow. Therefore, what is the discount rate? The discount rate is the interest rate charged to commercial banks and other depository institutions for loans received from the Federal Reserve's discount window. Yield is the discount rate of the cash flows. Therefore, a bond's price reflects the value of the yield left within the bond. The higher the coupon total remaining, the higher the price. A bond with a yield of 2% likely is a lower price than a bond yielding 5%. Changes interest rates, the discount rate, inflation. Okay, I don't fuck this. All right, we'll look into this later. Wait, we can't watch. Couldn't you just look at it as like you're looking at it from above? So instead of it being a tree that's growing top down, this is like the trunk, and then here's like a branch, and then like here's a branch, and then here are branches, but you're looking at the tree from above? I thought that's how you were supposed to view these. That's why they're called trees. Like a top-down view. Here's the trunk, here's a branch, branches, branches. Fucking unreal. Alright. This is like... Never mind. Tell us about factor analysis. A process in which the values of observed data are expressed as functions of a number of possible causes in order to find out which are most important. This is... I've never even heard of this before. I love you. Wait, is this like a real fight? Is this like not safe for life? Oh, never mind. Every time I see a Kanye West tweet, I get sad because it's RTBA's picture. Oh my god. What? No way is this real life. Where is all the traffic getting backed up? Oakland County? Like Oakland, California? Or is there like another Oakland County? Or... An apparent suicide attempt was thwarted overnight along I-696 in Oak Park. Oh, it's Detroit. Where a person had threatened to jump from the Coolidge Highway overpass with the help of some truck drivers. While a police officer was trying to convince the man to step back, a group of truck drivers banded together underneath the bridge. Troopers will grab the semi-drivers and will position them under the bridge so if the person does lose their grip or if they happen to jump, falls only a couple feet away instead of all the way down to the concrete. I like how this is just buried in here. They kind of have no choice because we commandeer them, but most of them we don't have any issue with. That's kind of an important part, no?
Good morning, Joe. What are you doing?
Ask for more. The Kumara, they're called to stand up and awarded with splendor the Bledisloe Cup and the Queen's Service.
I don't care. I liked you better, Death.
There used to be a time, it was rather recently, when I'd play something on the stereo. And Mom would say, Danny, won't you turn that noise down? And you'd say it's already very low. It seemed that I could always count on you to come and take my side. Say it's made you just...
I don't care.
how he was arrested without incident after this incident, after everything that had happened? He said he had a gun. How was he arrested without incident and not shot?
Well, I can tell you it's directly related to the high caliber training that takes place. The officers here are taught to use as little force as possible in any given situation, and I believe that this was captured on video. I just came in from New York City, so I'm still getting briefed as we go on, and I have to come back to give more definitives on looking at this particular...
I thought he was going to go way different than I'm still coming in from New York City, and I'm having to get used to the fact that we don't just shoot people instantaneously when we see them. To be fair to our American police bros, we have a lot more fucking guns down here. The chance of somebody having a gun down here as a criminal in the U.S. is a lot fucking higher than in Canada.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Commander.
I hate this guy. He thinks he's so cool just because he went to space, all right? A lot of people have been to space. You're not that special, all right? Sit down. Shave that pedo stat. No, I'm just kidding. This guy's real cool.
Hadfield, astronaut, spaceship commander, spacewalker, part-time.
I wish that there were more guys like this growing up. I feel like this guy has done like a lot of PR for space-related shit. I feel like if there would have been more astronaut dudes like him doing PR-related stuff, I feel like more people maybe would have cared about it, right? Like, how many, besides like Louis Armstrong or whatever, not Louis Armstrong, Neil Armstrong, besides like him, I don't know, like how many astronaut people do you even know anything about? Like that actually like go on YouTube or do anything like outreach like that, or pop media figures or whatever.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Commander Chris.
I mean, people say Buzz Aldrin. I don't know. I don't fucking remember anything. I know that he punched a dude. I don't know anything about this guy. Did this guy really do like a lot of like public like media outreach and everything? I guess maybe I just missed it all. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff with this dude. This guy wrote a book.
Hadfield, astronaut, spaceship commander, spacewalker, part-time musician. I'm here today to hopefully debunk some common space myths. Here's this common perception that you will immediately fry to a crisp by the unfiltered, unadulterated solar radiation if you get sucked out of the airlock. In truth, it's way worse than that. In the shade in space, it's like minus 250 degrees. But the part of you that's in the sun, it's plus 250 degrees at least. So it's going to start boiling and burning. So it's like lying on a red hot stove with a piece of dry ice on your back. And your lungs are going to be sucked flat instantaneously. But even worse than that is your blood is going to boil, like opening a can of pop where suddenly all the little bubbles come out because there's no air pressure around you. So simultaneously, you are going to freeze, boil, burn, get the bends, and no longer be able to breathe. Not a good way to go. I've done 2 spacewalks, and I was very thankful to have a spacesuit around my body so that none of those things happen to me.
That's so fucking cool to be in outer space, dude. God damn.
Sometimes you hear that you have to work out constantly or you will pass out and possibly die in space. Not true. Living on a spaceship is the most lazy existence you can imagine. You're weightless. You do not have to lift a finger. You don't have to hold your head up. Your heart doesn't have to lift your blood against gravity. You can be the laziest person in the universe in space. But eventually you need to come back to Earth. And if you don't exercise for your whole 6 months in space, you'll sort of turn into a jellyfish. So we do exercise 2 hours a day on a spaceship. We have a resistive machine, we have a unicycle, and we have a treadmill where elastics hold us down just to keep our bodies strong enough and our bones dense enough so when we get home, we don't just fall over like a puddle. But you don't need to work out all the time.
I think that even with that though, when the astronauts get back to Earth, there's still like a rehabilitation period, right? Where they have to where they're like in a wheelchair and whatnot. Doesn't that last a couple of weeks? I could be wrong.
You've probably heard that space has a smell, maybe like burnt steak or some type of barbecue. That's true. When you come in from a spacewalk, you're surrounded by the emptiness of space. It's sort of like the opposite of air. There's nothing there at all. When you quickly repressurize the hatch and you open up the hatch and you smell, what is that lingering smell from a place that used to be exposed to space? The smell in there is a little bit like that trace of a smell of gunpowder or burnt steak, or to me it's sort of like brimstone, like a witch has just been there. It's a cool, lingering trace of a smell. I think what it really is the emptiness of space, the vacuum of space, is actually pulling trace chemicals out of the metal of the walls of the ship. Little bits of stuff you never smell because normally there's air pressure holding them into the metal. They're slowly off-gassing those tiny little trace gases and trace particles that otherwise they never get into your
The rehabilitation
lungs.
period for that dude that was up there for
Released.
1
Sort of that
year was
metallic
months. Oh, well.
gunpowder-fired smell. That's where the smell is coming from. Maybe it's not even coming from space. It's just sort of coming from space's effect on our ship. Yeah, in truth, it smells a little bit like a burnt steak. So there's a lot of word out.
What's going on in here?
Oh shit, it's Destiny.
Yeah,
What?
it is.
Oh shit. I don't know what to say. Oh, I want to tell you about did he leave?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've always wanted to tell you about the origins of
His red elixir travels down his throat. He recoils from its strength, but soothes it. It's inconvenient.
What is this guy doing?
He's reading his Jordan Peterson story.
Why?
Because we were talking about Jordan Peterson. Oh my god, what the fuck? Who are these people?
Hello. Ayo.
Oh my god.
All right, this is a big
The
mistake.
.gg squad has arrived.
Yep, I'm leaving.
Kill yourself, you.
Good.
Fuck off.
I agree.
Hey, don't say those words. Them
Oh my
are fighting
god,
words.
We're gonna read it here. I was just reading my Jordan Peterson. I was listening to this Jordan Peterson fan story, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, keep going. I want to hear it.
Good luck, guys.
Yeah, tell the rest of it.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Out there that if you go incredibly fast, like the speed of light, if you could travel at the speed of light, that you won't age. And despite thousands of years going by, you'll stay the same, but everybody that you know will die. That's not really true. Einstein called it relativity because what he meant was your aging will be different relative to people's aging on Earth. You'll still age, time will still pass for you, but people on Earth will age at a different rate. So that if you came back after going incredibly fast, you would have gotten older by the amount of time that it took for you to travel, but people on Earth would have aged much, much faster. They would have had a longer period of time because if you get going fast enough, your speed is sort of proportional to the time passing. So you'll still age, but you just age at a different rate than people back on Earth. Einstein did this cool thought experiment. Imagine if you were looking at a clock. The light from the clock is coming and hitting your eyeballs and telling you it's 12 o'clock. Well, imagine if you could move away from that clock at the speed of light. It would only say 12 o'clock because that light and you would be moving away from the clock at the same speed. So for you, it would look like it was always 12 o'clock forever. You'd still be getting older, but that clock would always look like it was the same time. The people on Earth were continuing to live. They're not aware of you going the speed of light. So you can see that the time for you, because of your speed, is relatively different than the time for the people on Earth. It's a really unusual thing to try and grasp in your head. What happens when something blows up in space? If something explodes in space, will it make a sound? And could a human hear it? It's a pretty easy question to answer. The sun is just an explosion. The sun is the biggest explosion any of us can imagine. It's a huge, continuous thermonuclear explosion. It's every atom bomb we've ever built, way more than that, continuously exploding. It would be the loudest thing imaginable. It's constantly happening, but we don't hear a whisper of it. And that's because there's nothing to carry the sound from the sun to us. Even though it's incredibly violent, there's nowhere for the pressure of all of that sound, all of that noise, to be carried across the emptiness of space to shake my eardrum in here and let me hear the sound of the sun. It's a good thing. It'd be deafening. So if something explodes in space, it makes sound, but there's no way for that sound to be carried across space so that I could hear it. There is this idea out there that maybe the only way that we could really create gravity is to spin the spaceship so that everybody is stuck to the sides like one of those rides at the fair where you're pinned against the wall. And for now, that's actually true. We don't know how to control gravity. We have no way to control gravity. We can sort of pretend there's gravity by spinning a ship and have everything stick to the sides like a ball on the end of a string. Maybe someday we'll figure out how to control gravity.
Do they actually do that on the ISS? The ship doesn't spin to create artificial gravity, does it?
For now, we have to spin the whole ship. Only in the middle would they be weightless. I've seen that people think that NASA is working on warp speed so that we can travel at the speed of light to interstellar planets. Warp speed is an invention of science fiction. If we knew how to work on warp speed, we would. We don't know how to
It's
go
just a
anywhere near the
concept?
speed of light. It takes.
Does that, if you would start, you'd get dizzy as fuck? Well, angular momentum and everything related to that shit is like really fucking unintuitive. So, let me make sure I have the concept correct. I think the idea is that if everything about angular momentum is so unintuitive, holy shit. If you apply a spin to something, I think the idea is that if you're standing here, your velocity is always pointed tangentially, right? So that, but you're moving in a different direction, so that's what pushes you into the ground, right? Is that correct? That's why like if you were in something spinning, that's why you're sucked to the wall, right? Because if you were to destroy this at any point in time, the person's velocity would be pointing tangential to whatever they were on, right? Where is X Artemis? That's my physics guy. He's the only one I trust. I don't trust any of you fuckers. It's like your inertia. Sure. Okay, hold on.
I tried to be like you in debate race realist one-on-one. It turned out to be a 12v1. They would never accept the data I put forward, and the data they put forward was bad, but they drew false conclusions.
Nice. So, this would mean that would you even be spinning though? Wouldn't you have to be attached to the ground? Oh fuck, I don't understand. If you're in a zero gravity environment and you were here, just floating here, and then this started to spin, how would you even be pushed? How would you even be pushed to the side? Don't you have to be attached to the floor in some way? No, you wouldn't need to be attached. Let's say that you're just, the air inside the ship would spin too. Oh, so all of the air and everything would keep you, the air pressure and everything would be. You would already be spinning with it. Oh, because it's like conservation of, oh, never mind. I understand. So it would be, as long as you were on it when it started to spin, then everything works. As long as you're on it when you, yeah, the air shit is not true. I'm sorry, okay. So as long as you're on it when you start to spin, that means that you would acquire the, I don't think velocity is the correct word here, because velocity means a speed and a direction. The momentum, you would acquire you would be moving in some direction. And then if you ever, oh fuck. If you're on something that's spinning, let's say you jump. Would you jump and like fall into your face? How would this even work? Angular velocity? Oh, measured in radians per second? Fuck that shit. I guess most of these problems are not relevant because the space station you'd be on would be so large that this wouldn't happen, right? But in real life, I guess it's even true to some extent. When you jump, if you jump straight up in the air while you're on planet Earth, technically, oh fuck, what am I trying to say? I hate this angular shit. If you jump and you're on Earth, when you jump, the Earth is moving beneath you. You're technically going further off the ground than just your straight up and down jump, right? Because it's you moving off the ground, and then you'd be like raising at some angle. What am I trying to say, X Artemis? Can you... Because when you jump, you're moving in this direction from the planet, right, tangential to it, and because you're no longer being dragged around with the rotational fucking memes. Hold on, everybody that just said no is getting a 24-hour ban if you're just talking shit. Hold on, we're scrolling up. Ooh, I'm saving a lot in chat here. Because I'm pretty sure... Whoa! Okay, if you were here, let's say for instance, hypothetically, if you could jump, this is retarded, Destiny. If you jump on a plane, you land when you jump because you're moving the same speed. Okay, but the plane isn't moving in an angular fashion. The plane is moving in a straight line, kind of, relative to the plane, right? Let's say that you jump really high, okay, as a person, okay? Let's say that you jump like 5 miles off the ground. As you jump, oh, fuck. We learned all this during Kerbal Space Program, didn't we? If you were to measure like your vector or whatever, right? You'd be moving in like this kind of a at a diagonal or whatever, right? Wouldn't you? What are you asking? I'm not even sure. I don't remember. I think I was asking if you were in I think the original question was if you were in a space station and you jump and the space station is small, wouldn't you go flying into your face? Like your face would just go flying into the floor if you jumped straight up? That's what I'm asking. Wait, that was the original question. I don't think I ever even verbalized that question. It doesn't work the same on Earth because you're being pulled by gravity as you're in the air. It's different than the space station case. But I don't think it matters. If you jump off the planet, you're carrying with you a sideways moving velocity, right? If you jump straight up, you're also going to be moving... Oh, fuck. Because... of memes. I can't, never mind. It's too much. It's too many memes for me. You're moving with the planet. No! After you've left the planet, you're no longer moving with the planet. I'm pretty sure you don't move with the planet once you've left the planet. Like, you retain the velocity, but the thing is that when you're on the planet, your velocity is constantly changing, right? That's the thing, is that when you're standing, if you're standing on a rotating object, okay, your velocity is constantly changing. But once you've jumped off the planet, your velocity is not constantly changing in an angular fashion anymore, right? X Artemis, is that true or false? Wait, can you answer that question? Were my statements there correct or no? Your velocity is not constantly changing. Why would it? Because velocity is speed and direction. When you're on a planet, your speed and direction, or your speed can be constant, but the direction is constantly changing. Therefore, your velocity is constantly changing, right? Your velocity is always tangential to whatever you're on, right? So a person standing here, their velocity will be pointed in this direction. But as soon as you jump, your angular velocity isn't changing anymore. It doesn't matter, I don't think, if you escape the atmosphere or not, no? Everything depends on your reference frame. The frame of reference that I'm speaking is with the Earth, with respect to the Earth. In that specific example, gravity is providing an acceleration to keep you moving in a circular fashion after jumping. Wait, what?
Hello, my duder.
Is that true? That's not true, is it? If we have a uniform ball here, and we're floating right here, if this ball starts to rotate, does that influence us at all? Does that matter? Let's assume this ball is a uniform ball of solid matter. If we're just, let's say that somehow we're floating here, and the ball is floating here, and we're all stationary with respect to each other. If the ball starts to rotate around any axis, does that have any impact on us at all? Wait, why are people saying yes? Wait, how does that impact us? Gravity is always acting on you if you're within the atmosphere, either accelerating you toward the ground or pushing you against a surface. Gravity is an instant. Don't know if that affects it. Gravity travels at the speed of light, doesn't it? Yeah, your velocity would be impacted by gravity. That's right. I'm not taking that into account at all. That's true. So if you were to jump straight up, well, let's say you jump straight up very, very, very high, you would have a momentum in this direction, but then you would also be being pulled back down to the earth as well. Draw gravity lines from the big ball to the small one. Now imagine them being beams. Well, I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive that rotating has no impact whatsoever on this. There's no way. Well, I mean, I could be wrong. I shouldn't say there's no way.
I don't understand why you wouldn't.
Okay, X Artemis.
Fly out of the.
Hi.
If you're floating in space and you're around a massive planet that's just floating there stationary, both of you are stationary, if the planet begins to spin, does that have any impact on you? Does that change anything or no? Assuming that it's a uniform body of matter and there's not like...
Yeah, I think gravitationally it doesn't. Because this is similar to like a satellite in space, right? So like if satellite's in space and it's orbiting a planet and that planet suddenly starts spinning, what will happen to the satellite? That's basically the question.
Yeah, nothing should happen, right?
I don't think anything should happen.
Aren't you the physics guy? Don't you have like a master's in physics?
Yeah, well, you can get odd like second order effects. So like if you take, I think Saturn has a moon on it that's made of ice, and Saturn has tidal forces on this moon, like the Earth-Moon system. So what happens is the ice grinds up against it, like other sheets of ice, and as a result...
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I don't care about that shit.
Crazy stuff
yeah,
happen.
Yeah, sure, okay, yeah, I don't care
in
about
a
it.
simple system, I don't think anything will happen.
I thought that was caused by the moon's rotation, not Jupiter's, though.
It's not necessarily the moon's rotation. It's that the moon pulls on the water closer to it on Earth and pulls on the water weaker if it's on the far side of Earth.
Okay, here's my question. This is the original question I was going to ask. Let's say that you're inside of something that's somewhat small. So I'm drawing a circle with a diameter, let's say of 100 feet, okay? Let's say that, hypothetically, you're inside this circle. You're standing there, and it's rotating fast enough to exert 1 G's worth of force on you, okay? So it feels like you're standing on Earth, right?
Yeah.
If the circle is this small, let's say that you are, we'll say 6 feet tall, okay? I don't know what this is in European units. Let's say you're 6 feet tall, okay? If you jump high enough, is there a chance that you'll just be, from your perspective, like thrown forward into the ground in front of you? Is that what would happen, right? Does that make sense of what I'm asking?
Forward into the ground in front of you.
So if you're inside this circle and you jump up, as soon as you leave the ground, right, your momentum would carry you. Wouldn't it just carry you face forward into the ground so you just face plant? Does that make sense? It's like a...
Well, see, here's the thing is, if you draw... Yeah, I would try drawing, like, if you think of it like a series of pictures at different spots in time. See, the thing is, you don't go forward because the ground beneath you is also rotating.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you jump off the ground.
Yeah, and if you jump off the ground and you draw the path that the guy should go, see...
I'm going to draw the path, okay? And you tell me if I'm right or not, okay? So I'm going to just draw it as a... I'm going to draw it as a stick, okay? So here's our stick man. Now we're going to say that stick man jumps in this direction. So what I'm asking is when stick man jumps, he would jump, and then he would reach the apex of his jump, and then he would eventually fall. But I guess like if he... oh, hold on, let me draw the jump a little higher. But like what I'm asking is like if he jumps like high enough, like let's say that we jump this high, like as we come back to the ground, isn't it possible that you could like face plant into the ground? Like, does that make sense what I'm asking? Or if you were to jump higher than this?
I think what you're asking is if you're on a rotating system that's small enough and you jump, is it possible to not jump straight up and down, but to jump like forward along the circle's radius?
Yeah, like into like the floor.
And I think what would happen is that the ground would rotate beneath you, and from your point of view, it would look like jumping straight up and down. But from someone outside's point of view, it would look like...
Wait, so it would look like you're jumping straight up and down?
That's what I would think. I'd have to bust out some...
Wouldn't it look like, if you were to jump in a system like that, wouldn't it look like, even though you're jumping straight up and down, wouldn't it look like you were starting to fall forward, even though you wouldn't? Wouldn't that be what you would appear? So like, drawing it one more time, I'll try to draw this, okay, better. So we jump, we're ascending into the air, but beneath us, it would look like the ground is starting to like move out, like not move from underneath us, because we'd still be under the same point, but it would like start to curve, wouldn't it? Until eventually, assuming that we jump sufficiently high enough, we would just... Yeah, we would just crash into the floor that we just jumped out from. Like it would now be on our face instead of like jumping off of our, right?
But why wouldn't the jumper's body rotate as he jumped?
Because the way that you rotate inside of any type of rotating thing is by being stuck to it. The friction causes your velocity to change constantly in an angular fashion. There is no way to give, well, I could be wrong, but I don't think there's a way to give something an angular velocity such that like if you were to throw it, it would like move like angularly. Like things typically move in a single direction.
Okay. The way I would understand it would be the velocity at your feet would be slightly faster than the velocity at your head, which would cause you to look like you were rotating. But maybe I'm incorrect. Because the velocity is fastest at the circle because it's the longest distance rotating in the same amount of time, therefore its speed is faster, no?
Yeah, so
therefore your head would be
if you
slower.
Click this link, I'm going to put it in chat. Oops. And I'm going to put it in Discord chat too. It's Murder pointed this out. Wikipedia has actually a drawing of what this should look like.
Wait,
when it's
where?
Animated. In
Oh,
general,
did you just get banned?
Dude, I didn't get banned. I got muted.
You got muted. Okay, hold on.
If you scroll up and find It's Murder's link, it's the same.
Okay, the artificial gravity thing?
Yeah. So in this case, this is exactly the situation you're talking about, except instead of a guy jumping, it's a ball bouncing.
Mm-hmm.
So you see how the ball, when it bounces towards the center, the bottom rotates along with the ball, so that the ball's not effectively getting closer or farther away from the blue hash marks.
Yeah, I guess what I'm just asking is, like, if you were to bounce this ball sufficiently high enough, if you drew, like, if we put it on the ground and we drew a blue dot on the bottom of the ball and we drew a red dot, like, at a 90-degree angle up from that blue dot, if we bounced it, like, as it bounces up, when it eventually hits the ground, could it hit the ground right underneath it, the same ground that it came off of? Could it hit that ground but hit it on the red dot instead of the blue dot? Because the ground is still moving at an angular fashion, while as soon as it's left the ground, it's only moving, like, tangentially.
Yeah, I think what this is trying to say with the hash marks is that because the system has like a relatively small radius, that the bottom of that red ball actually moves around the circle a little bit. But if you make the circle larger, it will move effectively less.
Yeah, well, yeah, because if it's long enough, because, like, on the planet Earth, we never experience this because it's so massive compared to us, right?
Yeah.
The jumping person is still rotating while in the air. So,
yeah, that's the thing, is the jumping person still has angular momentum. But since your angular momentum is relative, is some tangential motion about a center. So if you fuck with the radius, you're fucking with angular momentum.
oh,
Same.
Never mind.
Which is what I said earlier.
Wait, no, I understand all of this now. One of you guys almost said it. Fuck you guys. You confuse, or you explain the shit confusing as fuck. Okay.
I didn't say, okay.
Yeah, angular momentum is a difficult topic.
No, this is simple, or at least I think this is simple. So this actually wouldn't happen at all. This whole thing is solved. If this is small enough so that the person jumping could actually, like, fall forward, like what I'm saying, then this would be small enough that the difference in speed between the person's feet and the person's head would be significant. Because if this person was theoretically tall enough that his head reached the center of the circle, his speed there would be 0, right? But as the speed at his feet would be much faster. So when he jumps...
I said that.
Yeah, but you said it confusing as fuck. End your life, okay?
I
In
didn't say
GTA
confusing
5.
as fuck. I said it the same way you just said it.
When the person jumps, his feet are actually moving quicker than his head, which causes his feet to still stay near the ground, even though because the speed at the bottom of his body is going to be quicker than the speed at the top of his body, right?
That's the same as.
Yeah.
I got it all. I understand everything now. I basically just
Destiny,
solved
fuck
quantum
you.
mechanics. You were so
I'm
wrong,
on
Triggered.
subbing. I'm so-
No wonder your
I'm
name
so
is
on
Triggered,
subbing,
dude.
Destiny.
Holy shit.
Say goodbye
There
to
is
my
a quantum
$5,
mechanical
bitch.
version of this that's also more complicated.
No, fuck this shit. I don't want to talk about this anymore. But I appreciate it, buddy.
Hey, Destiny.
What?
Listen to my songs.
Link it in chat, okay? I'm gonna tear you apart, kid.
I donated yesterday.
Just link it in chat. I don't know what... You didn't donate a song yesterday? I looked through your donations when you said it. I didn't see any songs donated.
Okay.
Just link it in chat, okay? I'll listen. Be careful. Bye. Okay, we have it all figured out. We've solved relativity itself. Get Athene on the line, guys. I need to publish my new theories.
This is how Alt J makes music.
What is Alt
Watch.
J?
Butt, put it in my butt, put it in my, put it up, put it in my butt, put it in my butt, put it up, put it in my butt, put it up, put it up. Put it in my butt, put it up, put it in my butt, put it in my butt, put it up, 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 butt, put it in my butt, put it up, put it up. You wanna do everything good.
Why do bikes not fall while the wheels are spinning? That's a momentum thing, right? I actually don't understand the exact mechanics by which that works, but I know if you push something forward with a sufficient speed, it moves forward instead of falling. I don't know why. I don't know the exact explanation why. This is Alt-J.
Good like burning wood. The wayward lad lay clean.
Wait, can we explain this? Can we explain this thing? I don't think I've ever understood this. I always see it and I turn it off immediately. I don't understand why this works. Conservation of angular momentum. Veritasium has a good explanation.
Hey everyone,
Hey.
it's me, Derek,
What's
from
up?
the channel Veritasium.
What up, dude?
And I've been following this series by Destin on Smarter every day about helicopters, and gyroscopic precession is just one of those things that still blows my mind as it did Destin's. So I'm here at the University of Sydney, my old stomping grounds. I'm gonna borrow some of their lecture dem equipment to hopefully teach you a bit about how gyroscopic precession works. The first thing I need to do
How
is
come
talk
an
about
alt-righter
vectors,
doesn't fall when
because a
he's
lot of
using
things in physics
circular
are vectors.
logic?
That
People
means
think
they have
bonus meme.
direction.
Nice.
So an example would
boy.
be momentum and force. Those are two examples of some pretty common vectors. So if I have a cart moving along here, it has some momentum in that direction, and if I apply a force to it, I can change its momentum. So for example, if I push it to the right, then its momentum will increase to the right. It all makes a lot of sense. Well, there's a similar statement we could make about rotating bodies, which is that a torque increases the angular momentum of an object in the direction of that torque. So let's try to figure out those terms. If I apply a force down on this side of the wheel, I create a torque. Now, torque is force times the distance from the rotating axis. You could call it R. So torque is the force applied times the radius away from the turning axis. Now, what's the direction of that torque? Well, we actually use a right-hand rule to define this. And so what you do is you put your fingers in the direction of the radius from the turning axis and curl them in the direction of the force, and your thumb points in the direction of the torque. So the torque is actually out this way.
Why?
At 90 degrees to the force. The force is down that way, but the torque vector is actually pointing out this way. So the angular momentum of this wheel is being
Why is that? Can you explain that?
increased in that direction. So the more I apply this torque, the more I increase the angular momentum of the wheel in the direction of the torque. So I'm making this wheel have a very large angular momentum out towards the camera, out towards you. Now before I go any further, let's have a look at this setup that I've got. I have a wheel here hanging from only one side by this rope. And so right now there's
He's
actually
about
a
to
torque on the whole
demonstrate that it's true. I'm not doubting that it's true. I want to understand why.
system. If I let go,
It's because R
the
times
weight
F equals
of this wheel
4x.
is pulling down, and that force is applied at this distance away from its pivoting point there. So if I let go, well, it does exactly what you'd expect. The wheel swings down this way. But I want to see that as an example of rotational motion. There's a torque which is pointing out this way, which is trying to increase the angular momentum of the system in that direction. Now, angular momentum in that direction requires that the whole system starts swinging anti-clockwise. And so that is what happens. But what happens if I only let go after I've already spun up the bicycle wheel? Well, in that case, the bicycle wheel would already have angular momentum this way, and so a torque pushing that way actually swings this angular momentum around that way. Okay, so let me try to get the wheel spinning and make it work. Come on. Oh, look at that. It's rotating as we predicted. See, the angular momentum vector is pointing out this way, but torque is pushing it this way. So angular momentum, torque, and torque is pushing that angular momentum vector around. Except not for long, because this appears to be a quite frictionful wheel. So check out Destin's other videos about helicopter physics, and then come...
How does he know when it's approaching the back of his head? Is he psychic?
So check out Destin's other videos about helicopter physics, and then come check out my channel, Veritasium, where you can find more like this.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here. Do you want my head delivered to your door in a box? Well, too bad. I only have one head, and I already called dibs on it. Plus, my neck is like pure muscle. This head ain't never coming off. The next best thing is what actually comes in the Curiosity Box by Vsauce. It is chock full of science gear designed by us. It's pretty amazing, and a portion of all proceeds go to Alzheimer's research. So a subscription isn't just good for your brain, it's good for all of our brains. Now, if you subscribe right now, there's still time to get this box, the latest one. It is full of brain food, including the topic of this video, a gyroscope. If you hold a gyroscope in the palm of your hand, upright like this, it will fall over. That's not very surprising. You see, the trick is to take the included string and thread it through a hole and then spin the disc around so the string wraps around and around and around and around. Once it's sufficiently wound up, hold the outside and give the string a firm pull. Ah, yeah. Now, the gyroscope appears to defy gravity. The axis it spins around is like glued in place, almost cosmically. If you could get this to spin long enough, you could actually watch as that axis did move. But not because it actually moved, because you and Earth moved around it. That's
what? Why?
Gyroscope.
Holy shit.
Spin long enough, you can actually watch as that axis did move, but not because it actually moved, because you and Earth moved around it. That's actually where it gets its name, gyroscope. You can use it to scope, watch the gyration, rotation of the Earth, as Leon Foucault did in 1852 when the device got its name. But how does it work? Why are spinning things so stable? Also, watch this. If I give it a good spin and then hang it from its own string sideways, it will remain parallel to the ground, but precess around. To get to the bottom of what's up, or wazab, as the cool kids are saying nowadays, begin by imagining yourself swinging a ball around your head on a rope. Even though the...
I just got a video question about torque is because it's a cross product. More intuitively, you have to think about what torque actually represents, which is the rotational analog of force. Rotations are defined about an axis, and as Veritasium said, we use a right-hand system to define the direction of that axis. I guess it's so incredibly unintuitive, and I've never really read about it before, so.
The ball is following a curved path. Its velocity is at any given instant straight, tangent to its path. You can demonstrate this to yourself by letting go. The ball will shoot out at the velocity it had at the moment you let go. It doesn't curve away or fly directly away. While rotating, the rope keeps the ball always at the same distance from the center, which means continuously changing the direction of the ball's velocity. Now, that requires force. And in this case, that force is delivered by tension in the rope, the same intermolecular forces that attract neighboring rope molecules to each other and are the reason the rope doesn't just disintegrate. Also, resist the ball's momentum acting on it, such that its velocity changes every next instant so as to always follow a circular path. This center-seeking force that acts on the ball is called a centripetal force. It can be provided by a rope, an entire disk of material, something invisible like gravity, or from the other side by a wall or banked track. Side note, notice that there is no force acting on the ball that goes directly outward, away from the center, what we often hear called a centrifugal or centrifugal force. You know, the force you seem to feel when you lock hands with someone and you both spin around and you feel pulled straight back, or when a car you're in turns quickly and you're suddenly thrown away from the center. The thing is, this seemingly outward-directed force isn't a force at all. It's actually just an object's inertia, the path the object would take if no other forces acted on it, being blocked by a force, a centripetal force. Across sufficiently short timescales, an inertial path can seem like its opposite, a centripetal force, but if allowed to follow its inertial path for a while, the difference becomes more clear. Here is a ball in orbit. If the centripetal force is removed, it will continue along on a path tangent to its previous circular one. The outline represents where the ball would be if it hadn't been released. Now, at first, the separation between the two appears to occur directly away from the center, straight out, but if allowed to continue, a more interesting path emerges. From the perspective of the outline, which is still moving counterclockwise, the solid ball appears to be receding and dragging behind, clockwise. This is due to the Coriolis effect, which we will talk about soon, but first, let's push some stuff around. It could really be anything, but I would love to use this ball. It's very cool. It has fiber optic properties. It would be awesome to get these into curiosity boxes down the line. I will see what I can do. Anyway, if I push the ball, it will move in the direction of my force. Pretty simple. But if the ball is moving before I touch it, its velocity doesn't just disappear. Instead, both combine and the ball moves according to their sum. The lower its initial momentum, the greater this angle. Now, let's go back to circular motion. Imagine a satellite orbiting Earth. Its velocity is, as we showed before, at all times tangent to its circular path. A centripetal force from gravity continuously swings its velocity around so that every 90 degrees, it starts pointing more and more in the opposite direction it used to be. Just like with the ball, a downwards force won't send it straight down. Instead, the vectors combine, resulting in a new path like this. 90 degrees ahead, it reaches the maximum distance it will travel in the direction of our force before going back. The key point here is that a downwards...
Whoa! Hold on, I have to slow this down. Let me I don't understand this part.
Its velocity around so that every 90 degrees, it starts pointing more and more in the opposite direction it used to be. Just like with the ball, a downwards force won't send it straight down. Instead, the vectors combine, resulting in a new path like this. 90 degrees ahead, it reaches the maximum distance it will travel in the direction of our force before going back. The key point here is that a downwards force at this location didn't move the orbit like this. It moved the orbit like this, tilting it 90 degrees ahead of where we acted. Now, imagine the satellite as a small piece of our gyroscope. Pushing down here will cause the piece to assume a path that would take it like this. But of course, since the disk is solid and all of its pieces quite rigidly push and pull each other, the gyroscope itself tilts like this. Or if the gyro pivots around a point below its center, like this. If the gyro wasn't spinning, pushing it down here would have just caused this to happen. But when something is spinning, its component parts have other vectors you need to consider. I learned a fun demonstration of this from a great video by Matthias Wandel. This is a cardboard disc. I cut it out myself. Now I can balance it on the end of a pen, just like this. And if I blow on the side nearest me, it tilts to me. Not very surprising. But if the disc is spinning and I blow in the same place,
oh
it tilts to the
shit!
right. And if I blow on the side nearest you, instead of tilting to you, well, it tilts to the left. If, instead of applying my force in one location the whole time, I instead apply the force wherever the tilt is greatest down, well, the tilt will glide around and around. Watch. I've run out of air, but the point is, this is exactly what is going on when a gyroscope here on Earth is spun up and tilted. The tilt glides around. This is called precession. What's happening is actually very similar to my breath moving around, except instead of my breath, it's gravity. No matter how perfectly upright a gyroscope is, it will not stay that way forever. Any deviation, no matter how slight, will allow gravity to form a torque. A torque occurs whenever a force rotates an object around a pivot point. If the disk is spinning, the effect of that torque will move 90 degrees ahead in the rotation, like so. But now the torque is operating this way, so its effect will have to be felt 90 degrees ahead, and so on, and well, what do you know? The gyroscope precesses.
Oh, this is where our right-hand rule comes from. This is why, right, coagulation, exartemus?
Now the torque is operating this way, so its effect will have to be felt 90 degrees ahead, and so on, and well, what do you know? The gyroscope.
Because the torque is felt ahead of the new path or whatever, it causes it to constantly move around, right?
Precesses. Now, if it wasn't for friction and air resistance and other forces meddling with this disk, it would just precess at the same angle forever. But of course, well, we live in a world with friction and air resistance and all that good stuff, so the disk spins down. In the same way that a slower moving ball is deflected with a steeper angle. As the disk slows down, each piece of it is given a steeper and steeper orbit around. The gyroscope tilts further and further down until it hits the ground and eventually slows to a stop. Take a look at this bicycle wheel. It's like our gyroscope, but bigger. I have a string tied to its handle right here, so when lifted like this, a torque is applied by gravity, like so. It's equivalent to a force up here in this direction, and a force on the wheel down here in this direction. If I let go, those two forces will do their work. Okay, pretty predictable. But if I get this wheel spinning, there will be other vectors at play. a piece of the wheel moving, say, counterclockwise along with the rest of the wheel, down here will have a velocity tangent to its circular path, but also a torque pushing it this way. That will cause its orbit, like in our gyroscope, to move like this. This force will have its maximum impact 90 degrees ahead in the rotation, so the wheel will turn like this, but, well, there's still a torque here, pushing the bottom of the wheel this way, moving that 90 degrees ahead. We see that the wheel will just keep turning, and in fact, that's what it will do. If I can get it up to a fast enough speed, then, ta-da! An even bigger spinning object is the Earth, and we are all on it, strapped in by friction and gravity for the ride. A ride with some surprising consequences. A helicopter can't just lift up off the ground, remain motionless, and allow the Earth to rotate under it. It doesn't work that way. This is because the helicopter, the ground it used to be on, and the air all around it are all also traveling with the Earth's spin. But if you had a magic paper airplane that could be thrown...
This is exactly like our question. Why didn't somebody just link me this right in the beginning?
...really far, and you decided to throw it directly north to your friend, Earth's spin would come into play.
Hold on, so if you were to throw it north to your friend... Wait, did somebody just open my door? One sec. Nope, sorry, okay. If you were to throw this north to your friend, if you were to throw it directly north, okay. If you were to throw this directly north to your friend, and your friend is standing here, the plane would travel like this and land here? Correct? Right? Yeah, it would be, well, more curved with the Earth or whatever, but...
No matter how dead on your aim was, every time you would find that the plane drifts a bit east, as if pushed by some mysterious force. And likewise, your friend to the north would find that their plane, thrown south directly at you, would always fall further in this direction. Drift a bit west. This is called the Coriolis effect.
And the reason is because at the equator, if the axis that you're spinning around is in the middle, at the equator, you have a higher speed with respect to that axis than somebody that's away from the equator, right?
You are both on Earth, and you're both always north and south of each other, but in a day, your friend nearer the pole travels a shorter total distance around. It's less distance at the same time. Your friend is moving slower than you. Your plane, meanwhile, is spinning at your faster velocity, and it continues to have this velocity after you throw it. As it moves towards the pole, it finds itself amongst slower and slower things, so it pulls ahead of them and drifts east in the direction of Earth's spin. Your friend's plane, meanwhile, finds itself amongst faster and faster moving things that it falls behind. There's a vertical version of the Coriolis effect as well. An object suspended very high, right up above you, will actually fall a bit to the east if dropped, and anything you throw straight up at it will curve away to the west a bit. The higher
Oh shit, this was like our question, right?
up object, whose circular path around is bigger, covers more distance in the same time than you. These
Kind of.
velocities don't just disappear when things are dropped or thrown up, so you both miss your marks. It's also why the directly outward pointing force you feel when spinning is fictitious. Your inertial tendency to move in a straight line takes you further from the path you're on to where things have to have higher velocities to rotate at the same rate. If you fly out long enough, you'll notice yourself falling behind your original rotation pace, not with it always directly out. Finally, lose weight fast, but not mass, with this one weird trick discovered by a Hungarian nobleman and physicist. People who think the Earth is flat hate him. It's called the Utvush effect. In the early 1900s, Baron Roland von Utvush was looking at gravity measurements taken on ships at sea and noticed that readings were lower when ships were traveling east and higher when they were traveling west. Further investigations found that, yes, in fact, when traveling, on foot, in a car, on a bike, in a plane, doesn't matter, you weigh less when traveling east and more when traveling west. In fact, an airplane flying east at the equator experiences an apparent weight reduction of about 0.9%. So if you want to quickly lose a bit over a pound, about half a kilo, get on that plane. What causes this effect? Well, when you're spinning with the Earth, you have a linear velocity, but gravity, a centripetal force, is always resisting this. If gravity was turned off and the Earth remained whole, you'd be flung off on a tangent that rose above your usual path. For this reason, your inertial tendency to take this tangent path is a sort of lift. It's not enough to take you off the surface. Earth doesn't spin fast enough for that to happen, but just as I can lift something that's on a scale and make it weigh less without completely removing it from the scale, so too does your inertial path lift you just a bit. Traveling east adds to the velocity Earth's spin gives you and provides more of this kind of lift in a direction away from the surface, making you lighter. Conversely, traveling west decreases your velocity in that direction, lowering its lifting effect on your weight. I will be thinking about this, and maybe even weighing myself very precisely while I'm traveling the country with Brain Candy Live. You got your tickets already, right? Don't wait. It is very, very exciting, and I cannot wait to get a chance to see you all in person and be more interactive with this kind of stuff, and do so on a much bigger, louder...
Okay. Good job, guys. We learned memes today. What were we?
An unlimited amount of energy.
Oh, because we were curious about this. Oh yeah, this guy.
Our planets. Warp speed is an invention of science fiction. If we knew how to work on warp speed, we would. We don't know how to go anywhere near the speed of light. It takes an unlimited amount of energy. The faster you go, the more energy it takes. E equals mc squared. It goes up with the square of the speed, in fact. So how can you generate that much electricity, and what does it do to your mass? We don't know. We think maybe it's possible that you could go faster than the speed of light, but we sure don't understand how right now. So we're not really working on it. So it's not really true. We're hoping for it.
Oh no, they kill him at the end of the video?
Oh, never mind. The only way that they survive interstellar travel from one star to another is to freeze yourself into cryosleep. We don't know how to do that. Right now, when you freeze water, which is what we're mostly made of, our blood and everything, it goes into crystals. It turns into ice crystals. And if you allow the beautiful, delicate nature of your human body to expand into ice crystals, it'll destroy the structure of you. It'll kill you. You know, frostbite destroys it so that you get gangrene in your hand. You'd end up with entirely destroyed bodies. So right now, we do not know how to successfully freeze a human body so that it is not going to be permanently destroyed. Maybe we'll figure it out someday, but all of those movies that rely on freezing the crew, we don't know how to do that. It's not real. You see on the internet all the time, someone has built a balloon and they've launched some little figurine with a camera attached to it where they take a picture way up high in the atmosphere. You can see the curvature of the Earth. It's pretty cool. But there's some people thinking you could fly yourself all the way up to the stratosphere with some sort of high-altitude balloon. You can, actually, but it's really complicated. Felix Baumgartner, when he did his leap out of a balloon, and actually go through the speed of sound, falling down towards the Earth and landing with a parachute. He was way up into the stratosphere. The stratosphere starts at about 6 or 7 miles up. It's not all that high, but then it goes on for a long way. There's not enough air to breathe. You kind of need to have an airliner with the pressure inside to keep your body healthy if you're that high. But if you take the right equipment with you, yes, we can use a balloon.
Do airplanes, when you fly in an airplane, do they have like a supply of oxygen inside that they use in like the pressurized environment, or is there enough that it just recycles and it's not like a big deal, like it's not even close to people using it all, or how does that work? Aside from like the emergency supply.
To lift us high enough to get all the way up into the stratosphere. So if you have the right equipment, it's true. You've probably read somewhere on the internet that if you go to the space station, your body will get taller, sort of expand, and it'll be painful, and you're going to be taller forever, an irreversible experience.
Oh, okay,
and it's
gotcha.
not really true. As I'm standing here talking right now, gravity is pushing me down towards the floor. Every single bone in my body and the little bit of gristle that's in between the bones, like each of the vertebrae of my back, every one has a little disc in between each of the bones, and even my hip bones and my knee bones, there's a little bit of a gap. Well, if there's no gravity pushing me down, then those gaps can all get a tiny bit bigger. If you stay in weightlessness for a few weeks, in fact, your body just sort of stretches because the gap between each of the bones gets a little bigger. And in my case, I got about that much taller. But you aren't really taller.
Wait, how much taller?
You're just sort of temporarily longer. But it's not permanent. As soon as you get home and gravity starts doing its work on you and grinding you down, everything squishes back down to its launch. So you may be for a little while a little bit taller in space, and it may hurt your back a little because everything's sort of getting pulled tight. Some people have back pain in space as a result, but it's not really growing. It's just sort of stretching to your natural maximum that you're going to get squished back again as soon as you get home. If you do get maybe that much longer after you've been in space for a few weeks, think what your pants would be like. They're going to
think what your pants would be like. If you got that much longer, imagine what your pants would be like.
Above your ankle. And if you put on a spacesuit, who custom fit the spacesuit to the size of your body? But we know it's going to happen. So we actually plan in advance. We fit our spacesuits knowing that the astronauts are going to be a little bit taller when they're in space, or at least their bodies are going to be a little bit stretched. And even the seat that protects us when we come back to Earth, the crash seat, so that when we hit the ground it protects us properly, we allow for the fact that our backbones are going to be slightly longer when we're up there. But your clothes, you don't really know how they fit because you're floating around weightless. Your shirt is always floating around your body. So you never really have a sense up there how well your clothes fit just because there's no gravity.
Not wearing
to hold them down
spandex.
and look and see how well they're fitting on your body. It's more like they're just floating next to you. I've read somewhere that on board the International Space Station, bacteria multiplies 10 times faster in space. So if you get sick, your body's going to be like torn apart by this ravenous strain of mutant salmonella. Nah. It is a different place than Earth, the space station. We run around with little swabs all the time to measure what microbes and what viruses and what little tiny bits of life might be growing on the spaceship. We also go around with little cleaners and wet wipes and wipe down the whole space station all the time, like in a hospital, to try and keep the whole thing clean and hygienic. And we are finding that some of those primitive forms of life do mutate slightly differently in the high radiation, weightless environment of the spaceship. But no one has died yet because of the mutant salmonella. I'm Chris Hadfield. Hopefully this has helped answer some of those common space myths.
Is it? I thought they had radiation shielding inside the space station. Or is it not enough to protect from everything? Do the gamma ray things like fuck people up or whatever? Is that a real thing? Do you actually know that there isn't less oxygen at higher altitudes? There's less oxygen per volume, isn't there? I'm like 90. I would put money that that's true. Or is this like conventional wisdom that's wrong? For instance, don't people who live at higher altitudes, don't their bodies process oxygen more effectively? Because when you breathe, you get less oxygen per volume of air that you inhale or whatever. Huh. Destiny, I linked the song. Sounds nice. It's like 36 seconds. Good job, buddy. There is a meme that one country never lost a home soccer match because they live above 4,000 meters. When Europeans go there, they can't run it as long as their home team. That's why people go to the gyms and they wear the mask, dude. Huh. Huh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. Huh. God damn it, I need to start doing this shit, guys. Fuck!
So after the astronaut...
You can groom so many girls that are like fans and shit. Where never mind, I'm just kidding. Never mind. I don't want to go down this road. If there are any women members of my audience that are that feel particularly vulnerable or need encouragement in their some random stream career, go ahead and just send me a DM, okay? And I can be very encouraging in response to nude pictures, okay? Or in exchange for nude pictures. Just let me know. If any of you out there really need the encouragement. Fuck, dude. Holy shit. I'm only talking about being my Minecraft girlfriend, by the way. This was all a joke. Oh yeah, only 18 or older. Dude, I've been so paranoid. Anytime a girl messages me now, how fucking old are you? Somebody can send me an email. It's like, hey, listen, Destiny. So I'm trying to think of like what I want to do with my life in terms of careers right now, and I'm not really sure what. How old are you, motherfucker? Don't even email me. If you're under 18, don't even fucking email me, okay? I ain't got time for that shit. Do you remember? Do you remember? Remember when I made that post? I made a big apology post on Twitter where I decided to come clean, and I admitted that back in 2006, like I had sexual relationships with a 16, 17-year-old girl, and how that actually got retweeted by like JF and a couple other big dudes. I want to say that Ian retweeted it and then he unretweeted it when he realized that it was because I was fucking 16 at the time. I don't think JF ever unretweeted it. Every time JF retweeted like dude, I baited JF so many fucking times, and every time he retweeted, he's like, "Oh well, I know he was baiting. I was just baiting his baiting." There were so many people that were posting that shit around, but honestly, I think I actually shouldn't have posted it because there were still people that like believed it. Like, holy fucking AIDS. Beautiful. Don't forget when Oni retweeted that tweet of you begging JF not to sue. Oh yeah, people thought it was serious. even JF thought I was serious. When I sent that tweet, I sent that tweet to Jeff. I was like, dude, are you serious? You're really going through with the lawsuit? Like, oh, dude, please don't. I'm so sorry. Like, please don't do this. He actually sent me a DM on Twitter. Didn't I post this on my stream? He actually sent me a DM on Twitter. And he's like, I don't know if you're being serious or not, but yes, I do intend to sue you. Okay. Are we still suing Aiden? I don't fucking know, dudes. I fucked up with the law firm I went with, okay? We made a big mistake. The lady that I was working with didn't respond to my email for like 3 months, and then she just recently did. And she said it. Wait, I don't actually know if I'm allowed to talk about this. I don't know if this counts as like attorney-client shit. If I'm allowed to, I actually don't know. I should probably look that up. No, never mind. I don't know. I don't think I can talk about my communications with my lawyer. Or is attorney-client privilege only at the privilege of the client, meaning I can share what I want about the... Where is Apple is at? Or Esports Batman? It's the client's privilege to break? Yeah, I think so. Basically, they emailed me like 4 months late back and said it was because her husband died. Or not husband died, I'm sorry. But it was like there was a death in the family and she missed the email or something. So I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. The problem is like I can't communicate like my actual intentions without sounding like really fucking mean, and I feel uncomfortable doing it because like it sounds like the law firm that I'm with is like trying to be like super responsible because they were like, oh, like, you know, we looked through all of this girl's stuff and it looks like she's, you know, it looks like she's severely like mentally disabled or whatever. Like that was the impression they got, or not mentally disabled, but she was like bipolar and shit. And they were like, we understand that. Like, they kept saying, like, we understand that you as an internet personality, that you don't want to look like a bad guy or you don't want to come off as being really heartless or cruel. And we understand that's how internet personalities work. So we're trying to come up with a solution that doesn't make you out to be the bad guy. But that's what I wanted. So I don't know what to say. I tried to express it, but I think I was too nice in, like, the wording that I expressed it in. But basically what I wanted to say is like, yeah, actually, I do want to be like a huge dick here. Like, I just want to like give her a big lawsuit that she has to fucking deal with and waste a fuck ton of money on and just be like a huge fucking dick unless she publishes like a public apology. That was my goal when I emailed them. I wanted public apology, and then I wanted her to pay my legal fees. But I don't know if I would get the latter or not, but even getting a judgment for it would be funny as fuck. But getting her to like actually read a public apology would be really fucking funny. But I just felt really uncomfortable because I felt like a sociopath every time I talked to them. Like, I think the last email they got was like, hey, like another extra legal way we could try to solve this is, have you tried contacting YouTube to get the videos removed? And it's like, I don't want to contact YouTube to get the videos removed. Like, I want a fucking public apology. Like, I paid you a retainer. Why would I go to fucking YouTube at this point? Like, what the fuck? That's not what I hired you for, to tell me to report a video on YouTube. Why don't you straight up tell them so? Just call them and lay it out. I don't know. I thought I expressed it like clear enough initially, but how much money have I lost? I don't know. I probably got like $600 or $700 in legal fees. I think I gave them a $5,000 retainer, so they would probably pay me the difference back. Or maybe they give me the extra back too, since they were like 3 or 4 months responding to that one email. Oh, and then also because the most recent correspondence was they want me to try to send them, ironically enough, her information, because they said without a real legal name it was hard to contact her. And I thought about it, but then she's going through this shit on Twitter where she's like literally fucking suicidal. So I feel like if I send them the information now, when they start reading her shit again and they're like, dude, like this chick is about to kill herself, like you really want to go through with this? Like, I feel like it would make me look even worse. So I don't know what to say. I don't know, dude. How did you find the only law firm with some decency in the U.S.? Well, the thing is that I think that they
$5 for the lawsuit fund.
They've represented other internet-related people before, but one of their specialties for their firm was like PR. So what they're saying is technically correct. Like if you were part of a PR firm, or if you were part of a legal firm and you were trying to make sure that you weren't making your client look bad, everything they're saying is technically true, right? You don't want to be like really mean in a lawsuit. You want to come off looking good to your fans, like everything you're doing is justified and all that, right? So my request is a little bit outside the norm, right? Where these people already fucking hate me and I want to look like a big bully. Like that's literally my goal. I want to look like a huge dick. I want people to be mad as fuck. Right? That like, but how do you say that when they kind of specialize in making it so that the exact opposite happens, right? Like, I'm not going to say that, like, I want Aydin to kill herself or something, but, like, looking at her previous tweets has been incredibly, like, infuriating. Like, she basically makes videos, or she made a video that was pretty much more Nazi propaganda. I say more, I don't think she's done it in the past, but now she's deciding to dabble in Nazi propaganda, where it's like, well, the numbers of how many Jewish people were killed in camps, that's hotly contested, you know? And now that people are calling her out on it, now she's like doing all these tweets where she's threatening to kill herself, where she's saying that like her life is being destroyed, blah, blah, blah. And then like, but she has no problem saying that I'm real life doxing and threatening every single person that I come into contact with, or associating herself with people and retweeting people that say that like I'm pro pedophilia. Like, the fuck? Are you fucking serious? Like she's literally just being bullied by people on the internet, and I have the FBI showing up at my door. Like, how the fuck can you sit there and cry like a little fucking baby bitch and threaten to kill yourself because people are rightfully calling you out on Nazi propaganda while accusing somebody that has a kid as being a fucking pedophile? Like, nah, dude. Ah, shit. That actually pissed. Never mind. Yeah, fuck it. No, never mind. Hold on. I gotta send her the fucking address and shit. Never mind. Okay. You guys have rejuvenated me. Ah, fuck, I can't stand that shit.
We did it.
Okay. Sorry. All right. We were playing video games. Oh, actually, I'm gonna use the restroom real fast. I have commercials. I'll be right back. I didn't mean my mic. What's up, guys? Guys, I am selling my house. I'm finally almost fucking done with this shit. I have to go tonight and then empty out just a bunch of random shit, and then I'm done, and it should be on the market. Can you imagine, once I sell that house, okay? That's $1,000 a month that I'm not going to be paying anymore to an empty fucking house. I'm going to have so much fucking extra money for Lord's Mobile, guys. I'm going to be a god in that game. I'm going to take over all the Chinese fucking dudes. I'm going to be unbelievably powerful. All right? How excited are you guys for me? Why not rent? I ain't got time for that bullshit. Fuck that. I don't feel like doing that shit. If I was ever gonna rent real estate, I would have to leverage a larger property. Like, why would I rent a place that's $125,000? Like, I would buy like a $500,000 house and rent that out. What am I even doing in this game right now? Da-na-na-no. Oh.
Hi, my dudes. Make
Hey.
sure to follow me on Twitter at OmniDestiny.
Thanks. Okay, we need Anklet of the Wind and an Aglet. Anklet of the Wind is accessory that can be found in shrines in the underground jungle. An Aglet is accessory that can be found on surface or underground chests. So the best way to find this is to create a new world and then run around looking for it, right? That's how you do this? Wait, is my potions chest full? No. What the fuck? Get in there. Dude. Stop. Wait. No. Okay. We've got corruption in my world, so I'll pick a crimson one. We'll call this the slums world. Wait, if you have corruption or crimson, does that 100% dictate all the extra materials? Like, will one world always have like platinum and lead and corruption, and then the other will always have like gold and iron or whatever? Or is everything random? Does that make sense? I already have Anklet of the Wind. Oh yeah, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for the Aglet. We need 2 of these. It's all random? Okay. Fuck, I've been thinking about moving to California so much more, guys. Holy shit. I got this goddamn fucking kid weighing me down. I always said I'd be more comfortable like moving away if once Nathan could speak well, because then I could like talk to him via Skype and whatnot. But damn, dude, I don't know. I still don't like the idea of just moving away. Okay, so I'm just running on the surface looking for chests. I wonder if I could get into the offline TV house. I know they're moving to a new house. I don't know how many rooms they have available. Like, I'm not sure. I really don't know. I have no idea. I know, like, I'm good friends with a lot of the managers and obviously a lot of the people in the house. I'm just not sure how, because like, the thing is that like, I imagine there's gotta be other streamers that are like bigger than me that are trying to get into that house, right? Wouldn't there be? So like, why would I make it in over any of them? I'm not sure.
You should just kidnap Nathan to Quebec.
Also, I don't know how I would feel living in a house like that. Dude, I'm like, I don't mind, I love socializing. Like if I'm going out to like events or parties or whatever, like I don't mind like talking to people. I love talking to people and socializing and everything, but like I very, very much value my, like my alone time. Like being like, this is why I never live in a fucking apartment ever again. Like I like having my house and having my own rooms and being able to do what I want in my own house at any time of the night without having to worry about other people like being upset or mad or whatever. Like it's like a really big deal for me. So I don't know, like being constantly surrounded by other people is like really, I don't know, it just seems like it'd be really fucking annoying. Do you think the age difference would matter that much? Aren't those guys all kind of older? Like Lily is 26 or whatever, isn't she? Scara and Pokemon, those guys aren't that young, are they? Where the fuck are all the chests at? San Diego, LA, or San Francisco? Well, it would be so cool. It would never be San Francisco. I'm never moving to NorCal. Fuck that shit. If you're actually considering watch more Poke and Fed streams, you won't be able to do it. I mean, I've hung out with Poke like a little bit, kind of off stream. She seems like a tolerable person off stream. I mean, like their on-stream content is significantly different than mine, but I say tolerable, that's like a mean way to say it, but I just mean like they don't drive me like crazy or whatever in person. You could get a house near them. The thing is that, like, for things that I enjoy in life, houses aren't really one of them. Like, big houses. Like, if I live in a place that's 150 grand, that's like, this house is way more than enough for me.
Don't you chill at home most of the time? Why even move?
Well, because I wouldn't have to. I could actually go out. Like, being able to, like, call up, like, somebody, like Lily or somebody, to go out to get food or something would be, like, amazing. Plus, all the people that I meet online seem to live in fucking LA. So like just being able to like go out and do things with people would be really, really cool. Wait, what was I just talking about before that donation? I don't remember. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I just wouldn't want to spend like a fuck ton of money on a huge fucking house. Live in Nevada, no income tax? Man, state taxes are bullshit. I don't give a fuck about state taxes. I don't know. Can you check my email I just sent? What? Why?
Imagine Lily's fans if you move in. They're gonna go full R conspiracy. Bonus meme, Metal Gear Solid Marathon when?
Are you... Does your name start with a P? What the fuck? Will they even allow you to live in the offline TV house with how extreme people go calling the FBI on you and shit? I mean, I've talked with one of the guys about it before. I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm not sure. I don't know. Or I guess Chris was the guy that I talked to about it. Yeah, I don't know. Don't hide the memes? I can't tell. I don't even fucking know what I'm supposed to do with that information. Okay, I found literally 2 surface chests. Yeah, offline TV has to be perfect since the only white guy in the house left. Wait, isn't Fed still there? At least tell us what it's related to. You guys being fucking retarded on my Discord and acting inappropriately.
If you move into the Asian Jersey Shore house, it will be too autistic.
Hey. Fed is a beaner? Fed is Hispanic? Well, hey, if Fed is Hispanic, I'm Hispanic. No? I'm half Cuban, alright? I might not look it, but I represent my Cuban culture and heritage proudly. Oh wait, are you allowed to say beaner, or is that like... I don't know. A radar? I don't think I've ever seen this item before in this game in my life. What the fuck? Speak Spanish? Hola. Wait, black people can say... Wait, can black people say the N-word on Twitch? I should be allowed to say racial Hispanic slurs. I am half Cuban. I should be allowed to say these. These are my words. Right? Can we get an official Twitch ruling on this? I want to talk to a mod. Black people are allowed to say it with a soft A, right? I should be allowed to say my words. I should be allowed to take them back. Can you roll your R's? Not really. Rojo. No, not really at all. Not even close. Listen to my authentic Cuban music. You guys like this? Dude, these anglet things or aglet things are like impossible to find. What the
The
fuck?
bean eaters got a right old civil war a brewin'. Sure as shootin'.
Sure as shooting. Put your tongue on the gums of your teeth and push from your chest. Your tongue will vibrate on its own. Keep in mind, I just learned how to like actually like place my tongue correctly for an S like 6 months ago. Okay. We'll get to rolling R's in a couple years. Do you see Boxbox is also a part of the streaming house thing? Wait, did Boxbox move into the offline GG house? Holy shit, look at all these water chests. This music is so beautiful, right? The fuck is that thing? Black ink? Are you allowed to conceal carry your Glock in California? I think I no. I wouldn't. Well, my Nebraska license is not reciprocated there. Shouldn't there be a chest at the bottom of this shit? The fuck? The golden chests aren't gonna help me, right? This has to come from a normal chest or an underground chest, which has to be brown. Oh wait, what is this? Is that a brown chest? No, this is gonna be some bullshit ass living wood chest. What am I looking for? I'm looking for an aglet? That loom is a rare crafting station? Wait, did I not pick it up? Is it aglet or aglet or agelet or aglet? I don't know how the fuck it's pronounced. These don't blow up the ground? Are you fucking kidding me? Did I pick up any bombs and all of that fucking... Have you tried fishing for it? Fuck fishing! Deanna, get the fuck out of my chat until you're ready to play League. Get the fuck out of here, Deanna. I swear to God, if I see you in my goddamn Twitch chat again. What's your opinion on Shapiro getting threatened and lied to you by that trans woman journalist? That one was a free one for the hour. I thought it was kind of funny. I don't know, dude. I can't take Ben Shapiro seriously when he talks about anything. He's fucking stupid. What the fuck is that corruption shit? Why can I not find just a big underground cavern? Fuck! That was an old-ass video? Was it? How old is it?
It is the most
I don't know how old this is. Dr. Drew.
It is the most difficult thing you can do. I've been overseas. I've flown helicopter missions, surveillance missions. I've been shot, stabbed. Being brave is being yourself. And being transgender is about the bravest thing you can do.
Why are we mainstreaming delusion?
It's not delusion.
Why would you call it delusion? Because Bruce Caitlyn Jenner, I'll call him Caitlyn Jenner.
No,
because
it's
that's
her. You're disrespectful.
Okay, forget about the disrespect. Facts don't care about your feelings. It turns out that every chromosome, every cell in Caitlyn Jenner's body is male with the exception of some of his sperm cells.
With the fucking Jewish, is that a yarmulke?
Out that he still has all of his male appendages. How he feels on the inside is irrelevant to the question of his biological sex.
I don't agree with
I don't hate you. I have sympathy for you. I feel terrible for you.
No, you do hate. You're consumed with hatred. That is who you
Really?
are. You're a little
You know
man.
me?
You're a little man. Yeah, actually, I do.
Let's stick to the topic. Let's not these first.
But I mean, that's okay. He can be whatever he wants. But there's ramifications for hate speech. But the point
What are
is
those
that.
ramifications?
Let me finish.
Go ahead, finish, sorry.
Little boy, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated on
Would you like
genetics.
us to discuss the genetics? Or
Well,
not?
no,
What
no.
are your genetics? Sir?
So I'd stay away from the genetics.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Holy shit. I'm sorry. I don't approve of that. But secretly, when I turned my stream off, I thought it was kind of funny. I thought Shapiro was a fence sitter and not a full-on bigot. Shapiro is retarded, but he's not a Trumple. I'm pretty sure Shapiro doesn't like Trump. I'm pretty sure on that, right? Or at least when I looked up him up in the past, he didn't seem to be very supportive of Trump. And he's Jewish, so he obviously doesn't make the alt-right, so. Oh shit, today's Tuesday. He does hate trans people. Does he hate trans people? I just don't think he thinks that like trans shit is real. It's all a big meme to him because he has a poor understanding of everything. Or he hasn't really thought about it much, I guess would be a better way to say it. Dude, we cannot find. We can't find these chests. The fuck? It's another itty bitty tiny fucking bullshit ass bullshit. How would you respond to his argument? The same way I've said it a million times on stream before. Gender and all of that shit is like insanely socially constructed. It's like really fucking obvious, and there's just no good reason to be like when you meet somebody, you don't know what their gender is. You don't confirm it. Like when people like Ben Shapiro are saying things like, "Is everything single chromosome in your body an XY chromosome, or do you have XY chromosomes, or are they XX?" Like you don't fucking know that when you see random people on the street. Not only do you not know that, 99% of the time it's irrelevant, right? Unless you're literally like, "I would like to create children with you." Go to the jungle biome, you're more likely to find an aggle there. What? It says you need to find underground chests. Not jungle chests, right? Like, when you talk about, like, biological facts don't care about your feelings. Like, okay, like, what? Like, I don't know. People seem to think sometimes that, like, we create categories or definitions for the purpose of creating categories or definitions. Like, it just doesn't... it just, like, the designation of male or female most of the time in today's society is just not really that relevant to the conversation. Unless you're literally, like, if you express a preference for somebody and you're trying to date somebody, sure. But, like, if you run into somebody at the store or if it's, like, a coworker or something, it's not really that important. It doesn't matter that much. I don't even know why the fuck I'm digging. Can I find underground chests and jungle shrines? Is that true? Chest found in... surface. I found a spear. I got a radar. Do you think calling it gender creates a huge semantic clusterfuck because a lot of people take gender to mean biological sex? Yeah, but the thing is that as our societal roles become less and less rigid, which they have, which a lot of people are still not happy with, that's the real issue that a lot of people don't want to talk about. The thing is that there are still a decent chunk of people that want traditional gender roles to carry on. That's the real issue, and that's why the whole biological gender sex thing is so fucking important. It's because there are things that men are supposed to do, and there are things that women are supposed to do. That's like the huge issue, but a lot of people don't bring that up. But the, fuck this world, delete. In terms of like knowing somebody's like biological sex, I don't know, it's just for most of the time, for like 99% of interactions, this is just not something that's very relevant. Like whether you know this or not is not gonna have any bearing on... The biggest objection to the trans movement Shapiro has is it's related to them confusing children. He believes confusing children with gender can lead them down a path to being unhappy and suicidal. Okay, but has this been demonstrated? Does this happen where there are children that grow up who are like being tricked into being trans people? Is this actually a thing? I've never heard it. Like, if that happens, I would argue that that's like bad and immoral, that should definitely not happen. But I don't feel like this happens on such a level that there's some grand trans conspiracy to confuse and like mind rape children. I mean, I guess it could happen. I just haven't heard of this being a thing before. Wait, water walking boots? I don't mind shagging trans people, but I want to be informed first. I don't blame them, though. Well, but that's fine. I don't disagree with you there. You probably should have that conversation first if you're gonna have sex with somebody, sure. But the way that you phrase that is so indicative of the problem. It's like people, like, if that's your go-to, like, okay, well, does it really matter, like, whether or not somebody's trans on it? Yeah, okay. If I'm gonna fuck somebody, I wanna know, okay, but how many people are you fucking that you meet on a daily basis? Like, are you, like, do you have like a fuck radar? Like when you're walking in the store, like every single person, like, could I fuck them? 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 Like on every single person you see, like. Couldn't you even argue that not just gender, but also sex is a social construct in the same way that race is? I guess. Don't we already argue that in terms of race, right? Do you think not telling someone that you're trans before having sex is rape? No. I mean, it depends. It depends. I guess it depends on the scenario. Like, for rape to happen, you have to do something that you wouldn't have done had you known otherwise, I guess. Whether or not something had been disclosed and if that needed to be disclosed. So, for instance, if your girlfriend says that she wants to play with you and you're like, okay, sure. And she's like, okay, get on your knees. I want to try something. And then you do it and she takes out her dick and rapes your ass and you find out that, oh shit, she has a dick. That would be rape. But I mean, like, if you're in the process of undressing someone and you find out that they have a dick or whatever, you're like, okay, whoa, hold on. I'm not cool with this. I don't want to go through with this. I don't think I would consider that rape, right? If everything stops there. How did you deal with the women gender roles being what trans people are attracted to? What do you mean? Oh, I don't even know if I... Oof. Like I said, like, all of my views related to sexuality are so far outside the norm. Like, in my personal view, I don't even know how much I buy into transness being a thing. But that's like a whole other fucking meme conversation to have. Or I don't know. It's more. It's really complicated. I'm not sure. Another. We're gonna find this aglet shit. Let's have the conversation then. It's not a fun conversation because it all basically goes back to, oh, well, Destiny, that's just because you're sociopathic, dude. And it's like, okay, well, I guess, maybe. Oh, yeah, give me that heart. Zizek got a lot of shit from the trans community. Is that the guy that speaks with the weird memes? I don't know. I have a hard time listening to that guy. Gold chest, fuck. I think it's a thing right now because we have such strict gender roles. In 100 years or so, maybe we won't even have a concept of gender. Yeah, and like that.
If you reformulate it as, what if I didn't know, but was happy anyway? I think it becomes a lot clearer that it doesn't really matter.
Maybe. I don't know if that was addressed towards this conversation or not. The conversation that I had with ContraPoints really didn't help me on this. It kind of like further solidified what I already thought, and that because ContraPoints told me that maybe in another type of society that she wouldn't be trans, which kind of reinforced my earlier belief. So like for me personally, so like, okay, so I don't like getting into this. So if you hear me say, I don't really know if I believe in the concept of like a trans person, and your first inclination is like, oh yes, thank God Destiny is red-pilled on this one issue. Well, no, I'm actually going like in the way extreme of the other direction, and that I don't even know if I necessarily believe strictly in the concept of like gender as a thing, in terms of like socially defined roles. I move more extreme in the other direction, such that I don't know if there should be like intrinsic differences between men and women at all. So like as an example of this, I would say like personally, if tomorrow I were to become a woman, I don't think it would change anything about me. I don't really care. I mean, I would have to deal with periods, but I wouldn't really care. It's not like a part of my identity. Like being a man or being a woman isn't something that I consider important to my personality, or any part of me in the way that I view myself at all. So like, and that's how I function. I guess like a year ago, I would say I think that all people should function that way. But now I'm not sure anymore, because people need human acceptance and people need social love and acceptance and all that shit. So I don't know. But yeah, so like when somebody tells me like, you know, I need to be a man or I need to be a woman, right? My initial thought is like, why is that such an important part of your personality? But then people that are trans people would say like, well, it's a super intrinsic part. You wouldn't understand because you see yourself as a man and you are a man, so you've never experienced that disconnect. And then it just becomes like my anecdote against theirs. And so I don't know. It doesn't really. Where the fuck is this fucking aglet? What the fuck is that? Blood crawler? Oh my fucking god. Am I a TERF? No, TERFs are fucking crazy. I like trans people, and I'm all supportive of the things, because whether or not I think that trans people should be trans people, it is a social phenomenon that has like real impact, right? If socially you feel a certain thing and all of society is reinforcing that feeling is incredibly fucking real to you. But sometimes people get lost. Sometimes people will try to say things like this is a social construct as a way of hand waving that thing, but you can't hand wave something just because it's a social construct. It's still very real in terms of how it affects you, right? Like we might argue that like race is a social construct, like being black is a social construct, sure, but if you get pulled over by a cop and the cop is like more likely to like beat your ass because you're black, you can't say like, well, hold on, dude, like race is a social construct, don't beat me up. Like this, you know, like it still has a very real impact. Never gonna find these things. My problem with other people is that people just care way too much about how other people look, their wealth, their sexuality, etc. Yeah, that's a big thing for me in terms of like personal shit. I actually was thinking about this a lot yesterday. We need to have more positive talks on my stream, because I feel like I come off as being really negative. Well, because we're always talking about things I don't like, and then everybody thinks like really negatively about everything. But like, yeah, that's true. Like one thing I find is that like a lot of people are just too concerned about other people sometimes. Like if somebody wants to call themselves like a man or a woman, like I don't really give a fuck. Like, if that's what you want, sure, whatever. I don't give a fuck what your fucking name is, as long as you're not making me say like a racial slur in front of my kid or some shit. Like, I don't care what you want to be called or what you identify as long as it's not like insanely stupid. Like, if you want me to call you like or some shit, like it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna call you Ben. Yeah, I just don't think if somebody turns this shit into like really big deals, like I don't know, it makes me wonder like what the fuck is the problem with that other person? Like, why is it such a huge fucking deal to you that this person wants to be addressed this way or called this thing? Like, okay, I was looking for 2 aglets because I wanted to get one for Kyle, but we're doing 1 aglet now. Fuck this shit. I gotta pick up Nathan in 15 minutes, and I don't have time to fucking do this shit. You'd think the thing with the gamer community, which calls each other by gamer tags, would be okay with pronoun. Yeah, seriously. Like, I think we need to have very rigid names and rules for people. Like, if you're a man, blah, blah, blah. Like, posted by Death Harbinger 66666, right? Or fuck, I should use real names, right? Like, we need to have real names used for real people, said by Sticks and Hammer 666. Like, dude, what the fuck? Like, chill. Do you think genders are just social constructs, or they're just symbols to identify different people? Like, so here's what I think, okay? Here's my view on this, okay? Everything in society hardcore exaggerates what is true. So if we were to leave people completely unalone and raise them in vacuums, I think you would see some difference between men and women. But it would be like a 47-53 split in terms of differences. Like, that's what you would see. Or maybe in some areas more dramatic, in some areas less dramatic. Like in things like aptitude at math, it would probably be very fucking close. In things like physical strength or bone density, it would probably be a bit farther, or maybe very far, depending. But like for the most part, like in terms of how we function in today's society, it'd be pretty close. But the thing is that like society will take a small difference and hyper exaggerate it, you know? So for instance, and I've brought up these examples many times, like women are supposed to be like nice and dainty and et cetera, right? So this manifests in a lot of different ways, right? Women have long hair, men have short hair. Sure, but I mean, men grow long hair just like women grow long hair. That's not technically anything special to women. You know, men grow, women shave their legs, men don't shave their legs. Like, well, okay, I mean, both genders grow leg hair. I don't know why only women shave their legs. That's just how it, you know, plays out in society. You know, I think that like society will hardcore exaggerate any biological difference that exists will be amplified in any, you know, in any society, you know? Go to the jungle, dude. Maybe they only spawn in the jungle? That could be right. I have to pick up Nathan, or he gets out of school in 10 minutes. Why are the differences amplified, though? I bet there's like a math function to describe this. But, basically, if a difference exists and we notice that difference, then we'll play into the differences more, right? And that causes an amplification to happen. You can do the same. We've done the same examples explaining like why law enforcement will lead to crime being exaggerated in areas and under-exaggerated in under areas, right? That there's probably some level of crime that exists in very affluent or wealthy areas, but it's not going to be caught as much because there aren't as many cops there because there's not as much crime there naturally. Whereas in places where there is more crime, well, a lot more crime is going to be caught because there are going to be more police officers there because there's more crime, right? We differences between two things can be exaggerated when you have like limited resources to provide attention to it or something. Do you think there's any credibility to JF's probable argument that the differences are amplified to increase attractiveness for? Maybe, maybe not. The problem with JF is that JF's an analytical model from humans is 100% from like a make the Bobby point of view, which is just not how society works today.
Good memes more than ever.
This is partially a problem with that JF is very one-dimensional. His mind he's intelligent, but he is not capable of ever thinking outside of like his very, very, very narrow, rigid way of seeing the world, which is a big problem. And then probably lack of interaction with other people a lot is a problem as well. Like he doesn't have any real life friends, probably hasn't interacted with women that much. All of his interactions seem to be very cancerous and toxic. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Okay, yeah, I think we are gonna go to the jungle. Blowpipe. Oh, dude, you think it's that? You think it's for that dank? You think it's for that dank, dude? Oh, that's a good thing too. That difference. Oh, that's a brilliant thing. I never even thought of that before. A perceived difference could actually lead to a reported difference. Actually, there's an example of this. That huge study that was published that showed that boys were better than girls, that tracked participation rates in class all through like grade school and high school, showed a real measurable difference between the aptitude in boys and girls in math classes, right? But when they did more research and they dug into it, they found out things like teachers are more likely to engage with male students than female students about math. If two students raise their hand and one is a boy and one is a girl, the teacher is more likely to call on the boy to answer a math question, right? That's an example of a perceived difference, just a perceived one, ending up like bearing out real, actual differences, right? Because that might change the way that both groups of people interact with that particular topic based on how teachers interact with them. So yeah, even a perceived difference could lead to an exaggeration in differences between two groups. Social related stuff is really fucking complicated. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not trying to say that like biology isn't real at all. I mean, there definitely is, but like our cultural programming and everything, we do so much in terms of like how we think about things and what the fuck? What about girl students receive less punishment for acting out than if a teacher would ask to grade 2 tests in grade school, they would go with the female one higher? Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a bad thing too. What the I'm getting confused. Stop. Thank you. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. Breathing read? Okay. Aglets are from surface and underground wooden chests. Jungle wouldn't help. People are saying they found them in jungle underground chests, though. And I'm not finding any out here at all. Like, we've gone through 2 large worlds and haven't found a single aglet. Like, that seems pretty extreme. Can you go get Nathan? We'll wait. After I pick up Nathan, I'm gonna be gone for a while, so. Because I've got to go to my house to do that trash shit. Fuck, I have to leave. I'll check this chest and then we're peacing on out. Nope.
Jump check me and no hype.
Alright, my dudes. I love it very much. I'll be back in a couple hours, I think. Maybe in, yeah, a couple hours. Reparino, cappuccino, pappuccino, cappuccino, mappuccino, appuccino, depuccino. Pappuccino, my dudes.